All right, and we're back, and you can see John's doing his happy dance for baseball. So, without further ado, let's get into the baseball talk. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Oakland. They have made some trades we talked about last episode, and they really shined the players that they got back in those trades. They really shined against the Rangers in the last game yesterday. In fact, they just started the game probably 30 minutes ago today, so I'll have to tune in and see how they're doing. But Marte, I think he had 3 hits in that game and 2 stolen bases. Jan Gomes had a couple clutch hits to knock in some RBIs, and then Harrison had his first home run with us. It was a 2-run shot to dead center. I think it was like 430 something feet, so crushed it. Um, it was just good to see that. Well, and the reason why it's such good news because we actually got some bad news yesterday too, and that's that Ramon Laureano got hit with an 80-game suspension for PEDs, and he kind of had the canned response where basically I don't know how it got in my system, um, but it did, so I take responsibility, whatever. But anyone that knows me knows I wouldn't put anything in my body that would put me at risk for this to happen. And the reason I kind of believe him is because what he got popped for, people have not been using in major leagues for quite some time because, like, it's one of those things that stays in your system forever. And, like, the guys just aren't using it anymore because they always get caught when they use it. So it would be really dumb for him going through the prevention program and all that stuff to where he knows this is something they're going to hit you for. It makes more sense to me that maybe he took a supplement or something that had it in it.
Right. Didn't
Everyone
realize it.
knows those supplements aren't really regulated by the FDA or anything like that. So whatever they put in there, you don't really know unless it's analyzed by like a third-party lab or whatever. So
Right.
I don't know why players continue to take those supplements without knowing exactly what's in there, but it's going to cost him 80 games, which is basically half the season, going into next season too. And even if the A's make
Yeah.
the playoffs, he won't be able to go in for the playoffs
Well, and
either.
it's always so hard to come back after a gap like that too. So I mean, it's basically washing the entire season.
Yep.
I mean,
I think he's going
not
to
saying he
miss.
can't come in and do well, but it's really tough to come back.
Well, the one nice thing is they do get to take part in spring training, and
Yeah.
they do get to take part in minor league games as they're ramping back up. So I think if I did the math right, he should be coming back in early May or mid-May, something like that. So he'll only miss the first month of the season roughly, and that's about the time the minor leagues get ramped back up. So he'll
Yeah.
go from spring training right into the lower level minor league games, and then he'll
Get
jump
warmed
right
up.
into the majors. So obviously it's a big loss, but that trade for Starling Marte is looking even better by the minute.
I was
Um,
so happy to see him go to you guys.
yeah,
Just because obviously, I mean, for obvious reasons, I like him, but um, it's nice to see him somewhere where I guess he's not having to carry. Obviously, he's playing well, but he's not having to carry the team, or he's not the one shining spot. So I don't know. I'm excited for you guys to have him because I think it's gonna help push you guys into a late run here. I'm really hoping.
yeah. Well, and he's been everything advertised and more.
I
He
mean,
has the
he's fired
fourth
up.
he has the fourth highest batting average since the All-Star game. So he's definitely going to help us make a stretch run. The only other thing I really had from that game was Brock Holt coming
uh,
out of the bullpen.
it
So
was a beaut.
if any of you aren't familiar with Brock Holt, he's an outfielder, so not
Not
usual
anymore.
pitcher, but he came in relief because the game was out of hand. They didn't want to waste a relief pitcher, so they put him in. And first pitch he threw was a 31 mile an hour fastball, if you can call it that. So
They should have started him. I'm just saying.
it looked like if you've ever played slow pitch
Holy
softball,
cow.
that's what it looked like. Except, obviously it's coming from up here instead of underhand. So he throws it and it just goes out of the camera, comes back down and hits the top of the zone. And I think I can't remember who was batting, but they just looked back like, did that really just happen? And
I've
strange
I've seen
fact,
lawn dart throws with less arc
yeah.
than that pitch had.
Strange fact, it was the slowest pitch or the slowest strike ever recorded. So
Good for him.
pretty slow pitch, and then he followed it up with a 77 mile an hour fastball later in the at bat. So
Whoo, heater.
yeah, that's elite velocity separation there. So
So does that mean that the 31 was just a really really drastic changeup? Is that what I'm understanding?
yeah, he said he wanted to see how slow he could throw it and still make it in the zone, and he accomplished it. So very impressive performance there. But
Record holder. Beautiful.
looks like the
That's a
A's are
straight
up.
up Brewster Millions
Yeah,
pitch.
A's are up 3-1 today.
Good.
So looking good for today. What do you got on the Pirates?
Pretty rough series against the Reds. For whatever reason, they always seem to have our number, and big time they tend to put up double-digit runs on us. But today was a little bit better. Yesterday was another ugly game, but like we talked last one, wins and losses are irrelevant at this point. We're starting the climb out of a rebuild, so to speak. But the bright spots, I was always really big on Anthony Alford. I was bummed that he had an amazing spring training, especially at bat, and it didn't translate to the first part of the year. Over the first couple months of the season, he only had 2 hits. He went a very long time without ever getting a hit. So naturally, he got sent back down. But with Indianapolis, he started to he was tearing it up. And so stars aligned. We brought him back up, and his first game back, he went 3 for 4. So I think he's changed his approach. He had mentioned that the mental aspect of it started weighing on him, not getting hits early in the season, and he's basically going to control what he can control. So I'm really excited for him. I think we're better with him in the lineup right now. So good for Alford. I love seeing him play. And it also forced us to drop some players. Eric Gonzalez got DFA'd, and then Phillip Evans got sent back down to Indianapolis, which they were never anything but fill-ins, despite some good moments. But we're now finally forcing some of these moves to where Castro, Hoy Park, a lot of these guys are getting the time playing right now, which is what we need. We need to analyze these players. So speaking of that, one of our pitchers, Bryce Wilson, I talked about him, I think last podcast. He actually looked really good today. We lost 3-2 against the Reds, which for us, that's a win right now. Their bats come alive against us for some reason. And he pitched 6 innings and looked really good. He had 1 bad inning, gave up 3 runs, but he recovered well. And he's been a bright spot for us. And the last and only other thing I'm going to say about him today is if Brian Reynolds does not get a Golden Glove,
We riot.
I'm going to burn this mother to the ground. He has literally every game another layout catch in center field. And his throws to the infield are always, spot on. Like he's playing out of his mind this year. If he doesn't get a Golden Glove, I will be blown away, honestly. He's having a great year. So Brian Reynolds, let's do this. Get a Golden Glove.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few of his plays, and I'm not watching a ton of Pirates games these days because they're not winning much. But
oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
I watched I think it's Quick Pitch on MLB Network, where it does kind of a rundown of all the games, and see him on the highlight reel quite a bit. So
Absolutely.
definitely looks like he's deserving. But let's shoot it out to the great state of Wyoming.
Absolutely. Finally, we get to. I guess we'll end up covering some other sports, but obviously when football starts ramping back up, That's probably the biggest thing that we probably focus on. I guess football and probably basketball, but their fall camp practices just started on the 6th, which is always exciting. Get to see where we're stacking up again. I don't know. I'm excited just for Cowboy football to be back. I'd like to try to catch a couple games this year. We'll see what happens, but I don't know. Have you guys been following them at all? Obviously, it's early.
Yeah, it sounds like Chad Muma's ready to. Well, I mean,
Looking primed.
played pretty well last year, but it was an abbreviated season. Looks like he's ready to pick up where Logan Wilson left off and probably
Absolutely.
be the next Cowboy linebacker in the NFL. The interesting thing for me that I wanted to get your guys' take on, Sean Chambers is back healthy, and I know for some reason Craig Bowl has an affinity for him. Like, I can see how we would have like a package for him or something, because he
Yeah.
definitely has the capability of running as a quarterback and sometimes occasionally hitting a pass. But in what I've seen from him over, I think, 2.5 seasons, he really hasn't been capable of carrying the offense when the defenses start to bring the linebackers down to the line and really pressuring him, because they know he's not really a threat to throw.
I agree.
And obviously Levi Williams stepped in for him the last 2 seasons when he's been hurt. And really, I've liked what I've seen from him. At least he seems more capable of at least throwing the football, and he still has the legs and still a big guy, can run over some people if he has to. But interested on your takes.
Go ahead, John.
0 takes.
Oh.
Have not been watching any Wyoming football whatsoever in the last 4 years, really.
Fair enough.
No chance to. I've been not around, so
Makes sense.
I mean,
hasn't been a thing.
I think you basically hit it right on the head, Bill. For the team standpoint, I really hope that Williams ends up being under center. I think it does give us the best chance to win, and we have some tough games this year. I would love to see Chambers utilized for sure. I mean, he's athletic, he's very talented, but I agree with you that I think Williams needs to get the nod. I'd like to see him with a full season under his belt.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I guess to be fair to Sean, if we give him a look in the camp and see how he looks, and then maybe make that determination. It's been rumored that he's been working with some quarterback gurus, so to speak, on his throwing motion and things like that, because like I said, he's got a cannon for an arm, but he's
absolutely
as accurate as Jamarcus Russell. So we'll see what happens in camp, and I'm sure they'll name whoever gives them the best chance to win. Although, like I said, I don't think that's always been Sean Chambers, and Bowles stuck with him. So we might see.
And I mean, that's. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just gonna say we might see him out of the gate, and if he's still not able to get it done, then they'll make the move because they know William is at least capable. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, and to your point, if he did put in some off-season work and say he shored up the accuracy and works on the pocket a little bit better, then yeah, absolutely, I'm all for giving him another ride. But I mean, they'll figure it out. That's why they got camp started. So they'll get
Vegan leave?
Get a plan. I thought he did.
I'm pretty sure he did. So that'll probably help their offense a little bit too, because that guy is about as imaginative as I don't even know. It's either run right, run left, or on third down we throw. So.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching high school football from my childhood.
Yeah, so I think he went to Montana, if I'm remembering right. Let's see. I'm trying to look it up right now. Anyway, if you guys want to move along on the next topic while I'm trying to look at this. Yeah, MSU.
I'm pretty sure he did, but we'll see.
Montana State.
There we go. While we were talking about the Cowboys, I always try to watch a little bit of the Olympics. Catch it when I can. But a cool point for UW and Wyoming Cowboys. Nathan Sobey actually played for us back 2012 through 2014. Point guard, shooting guard, but he is on the Australian basketball team, men's basketball team, and they were actually able to get a bronze medal. So I didn't realize this. He is actually the first UW athlete to ever earn an Olympic medal. So we've had guys do well at trials and other events, but this is the first time someone's ever won. So, well, I guess earned a medal. They didn't get gold, but pretty happy for him. And Australia had a really, really good basketball team this year. They were fun to watch. So good for them. I was really excited that he was able to get a medal.
If they made beer drinking an event, I'd like our chances.
That's true. I think we could
You'd
probably
have to take all the gold.
All gold, every place.
I love that you say that. Actually, just it made me laugh. There's a video clip of Josh Allen. Actually, I think he's at a baseball game, and he hops out, and I'm pretty sure he chugs a beer on his way to home plate, and it was blowing up on Bill's social media.
Must
and
have been
everybody
for
was
a
like,
Blue Jays game because they were playing
Yeah,
in Buffalo.
It's got to be something like that. But everybody, was talking about, oh, wow, Josh Allen looks like he can handle a beer, blah, blah, blah. And I got on there and I was like, you guys know that he came from UW and that's a party school, right?
Yeah.
Like this, whatever.
In
I don't know, it just
heaven,
made
there
me
is
think
no
of it.
beer.
Exactly.
So that's why we drink it here.
Yeah. The man knows.
But
yeah.
continue on with the Olympics theme. Kevin Durant pretty much carried the U.S. men's Olympic team to a gold medal finish. Obviously, they had some contributors that played well, but he was the leading force there.
The guy.
Well, and they needed it, obviously. I mean, anybody that followed, they struggled in the exhibition
It wasn't
games.
looking good at the start.
I was wondering if we were even going to medal.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a weird feeling for USA men's basketball. I mean,
well,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you see it a lot in the NBA seasons when they have like free agency and stuff. It takes a while to actually start to gel because you're not used to playing with those players, and I think that's probably the majority of what was happening. And we lost in exhibitions. We lost obviously in the first game, but
FIBA rules and NBA rules.
True.
I think struggled between the two.
Right.
And I do think some of the change as far as the setup is obviously more of your NBA players are playing for their home nations.
Yep.
We've never seen it to this extent. So I think it's actually very cool. Just to be clear, I think it's awesome to see some of and you're seeing more of them play, which is awesome. But I think it has impacted obviously our basketball team for the U.S. big time. So.
Don't mind me. I'm just watching the replay of Brock Holt pitching yesterday. Matt Chapman.
It's a gem.
Matt Chapman hit a line drive to the left fielder off of him and tried to stretch it into a double and got thrown out at second. So they were talking pregame and just laughing about it. But 31.1 mile per hour. Slowest called strike in MLB history.
It's impressive.
But anyway, the women's basketball team also, U.S. women's basketball team also won gold. They played the championship game against Japan. And Brittany Griner, holy smokes. I think she was probably at least a foot taller than Japan's tallest basketball player.
Yeah.
And they were trying to take it to the lane against her the entire time, and she was just swatting them left and right. I don't know how many blocks she ended up with, but just in the first quarter, I think she had like 4. So it's pretty impressive.
I saw a highlight reel, and it was not even a highlight reel. It was a video clip where they strung all of her swats together. It just, I'm sure it was very frustrating for the Japan basketball team. So
yeah, you guys got to watch this StatCast stuff for that pitch. They're breaking down the spin rate and everything. It was like 600 RPMs, and
Oh,
the
jeez.
vertical brake on it was 289 degrees or something stupid like that.
Wow. I'm gonna have to look it up. I gotta.
They're
I
showing it
was
on the
laughing.
A's broadcast here, but whew. And then one last note on the Olympics before we call this a episode. USA secured the most gold medals last night. They beat China by 1.
Yep.
China went into the night leading by 2, and U.S. won three events to close it out. So got most gold medals and most overall medals for the Olympics. So.
And they had a good gold medal lead on us early on, so it
Yeah.
wasn't looking good there for a little bit.
So that's something that us Americans can be proud of.
Absolutely.
Even though we
Fantastic.
can't get along with each other, we can still kick everyone's ass at sports. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Well said, Bill. Well said.
All right, boys. Anything else to add before we call her a pod?
I got nothing other than anyone listening. Please, like we always talk, please send in some questions, comments, anything. Again, doesn't have to be sports, but we would love to have some fan interaction and
Yeah.
get some debate going.
Got a question that we'll probably feature next weekend.
Beautiful.
So, as always, yeah, we want some mailbag questions so we can get you guys involved. So, if we can read those, or like I always say, we have Anchor, which is our website. If you go to that, or even if you listen on Apple Podcasts, in the description it'll give you a link where you can leave a voice message. So if you just click that, it'll give you the option to just record right there your question. We can plug it in the episode if you want it to be. If you don't want your voice to be heard, we can always just read it for you over the podcast, and then we can answer it from there. So, and we don't have to put your name in. We can put your name in. Whatever you prefer, just let us know, and we're happy to get you involved. And as always, like, subscribe, give us some feedback, and rate us on any podcast platform you listen to. So.
And I can vouch for the Anchor approach to leaving messages. You do it enough, and then they just let you join the show.
Boom.
Yeah.
We'll get a fourth
Just leave
wheel.
one comment and then you can join the show.
There you
Right?
go. All right, boys.
Fellas. It's been good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
All right.
Talk
Have a
to you
good
guys
night.
soon.